Welcome to this episode of Good Finds Podcast. Today I'm with Kari Harford, who is our lead Habilitation Specialist, and she's going to explain what the Goodwill Habilitation Program is all about. So, what is Habilitation? What does that mean? And what is our program? Who do we serve in this program, Kari?
Sure. So our program serves a variety of individuals that may have intellectual disabilities or they may have mental health diagnoses. And so individuals come to us through the week, whatever works best in their schedule. Some folks may come to us Monday through Friday, others may come a couple days a week. And when they come, we're working on more of the soft skills. So that's, again, a variety of things. It could be anywhere from basic skills that have to do with reading, math, cooking, to things like coping skills, just having better socialization. So again, a real variety of activities that they may be working on. And we do it in different ways. It could be we go out to volunteer in the community and working on it there. It could be some activities that are here in the building, like the cooking. So it may be working on reading a book that they've chosen, or starting simpler with sight words. So really it's coming to meet the person at where they're at to help them get to be as independent as possible.
Sure. You know, most people who are familiar with Goodwill know that we have a long history of serving people with disabilities. And those who are in our Habilitation program, how would you describe them in terms of the range of disabilities and the barriers they may be facing and why that program is so helpful to them?
So again, real variety. You know, we have some individuals that they need the supervision, constant supervision, and others who, you know, we have a couple of folks that drive their own cars here. So it may be, again, like I was saying with the reading, somebody may be working on reading a book where another person may be working on sight words. Someone who is having difficulties with coping skills could be something as it's difficult for them to leave their home to come to programming, or it could be somebody who's at programming but they need to work on how to walk away from situations. So it's really a variety of barriers that people are running into. Somebody may be working with us on using the city bus. They depend on either transportation companies, their group homes, or families, and they're not independently able to use something like the city bus. And we're out there using it almost daily at this point. So it's something they could pick up, and if they get to the point where they could have community alone time, then they could put that skill that they learned to use.
So this might be someone, like you said, a variety of people, ranging from people who may be struggling with socialization skills, maybe people who have intellectual barriers, and whatever that barrier might be, that requires more supervision to help get them to where they want to go according to their goals, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how long you've worked at Goodwill and how you ended up doing what you're doing.
Sure. So I've been with Goodwill 21 years now. The first 7 years, I was a vocational counselor, so I helped individuals either find jobs in the community, do assessments. You know, folks may have been working in the stores or in contracts. And then we started to talk about if we would like to start a day program at Goodwill. And so I was part of the committee that looked into, was this a need in our community, and was able to present. Yes, there were a couple other day programs, but everyone kind of had their kind of little niche. And so we felt like it was something that we could dive into. And it was something that I was hoping to be able to do at some point, because I had had a few years at that point of working with individuals with disabilities. And I wasn't always thrilled with what the choices were that the individuals I had worked with had as options for them, and really hoped that someday that I would be able to do day program. And then it came up and I applied, and here I am.
So you weren't really thrilled about the options that
Not
were.
always.
Yeah.
I think
What
that they're
was-
good options for the right people,
Mhm.
but I really wanted to be able to help provide a program that individuals were getting some choices
Mhm.
and helping to guide their days more,
Mhm.
having activities that were fulfilling,
Mhm.
not just necessarily things that filled time, was my hopes. And so, and kind of going with that, we now have, for quite a while, we've had groups each day that we call client plan groups. And those individuals have agreed to be in that group every week, and they plan their activities. So it's completely client driven. And all the clients get a day where they plan the day for a group. So we're really trying to give them that ownership. And when they come in the morning, they're picking what group they're going into. So really just trying to give them those choices, because I didn't years and years ago feel like there was necessarily that out there.
Sure.
I mean, to a point, and every program is a good fit for someone.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about, of course, a population that may have traditionally been in a group home situation, like you said, maybe parked in front of a TV for hours on
Sure.
end.
Sure.
Those are probably the less meaningful
Yeah.
outcomes that you're referring to.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at what I've observed from our day habilitation program is we really do. I mean, you guys do an amazing job of offering just a variety of really enriching opportunities, field trips that I wish I could go on.
Yeah. Well, and definitely, again, back even, the 14 years ago to today, just the services that are available, both whether that's, day hab or it's group homes or vocational, it's just evolved to really get the clients out and more integrated in their communities. So that, what was acceptable so many years ago is not, it's not the norm now. Like
Right.
It's like what we're doing, that we're out there, we're getting folks involved in the community. Again, whether that's through the volunteering or it's joining activities that are open to anyone in public, or we're out there bowling. It's just really getting our folks out there to get in their communities and helping them work on those barriers while we're doing it, to help them be as independent as they possibly can be.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, with your long history, I mean, 21 years, you've literally been here since the beginning or before the beginning of the program.
Yeah.
So you're an eyewitness to how this program has evolved over the years.
Oh, yeah.
And what would you say are the big differences between now and where this program was, say, 10 years ago?
Yeah, when we first started, it was me and 2 trainers, and we used our personal cars to transport folks. And so over the years, we grew to a point where we needed to move into a building that was just us. And
so a dedicated facility
Yep,
to the day habilitation program.
Yeah, and we were able to get to come back to our current building, which was the original building, when space opened up for us. But I would say that the number of people, first of all, that's in the program is a huge difference from when we first started. The amount we're in the community has just grown huge. We moved from using, like I was saying, our personal vehicles to company vehicles to using the city bus. So just those modes of transportation and how much we're using the public transportation, getting the goals that people are working on, just more and more individually based. Not that they weren't to begin with, but they've just, again, continued to evolve to be so person-centered, so that we can really hit what each individual needs to work on so that they can get to where their goals are in life.
And I think that's an important perspective, is the individual. I mean, the individuals we work with each have their own aspirations, their own goals, their own desires as to what they want out of the program.
Mm-hmm.
And so you really work to provide an individual plan, correct?
Correct. Yep. Everybody has a yearly meeting with everyone on their team. And before we go, we typically will talk to the individual about how did the last year go? What are you interested in working on or improving? And then just coming together on what are some things that we could really hit over the year so that that person could be successful.
Indeed. Now, this is a big undertaking, and we, as you mentioned, have grown. We have more than one day hab location, is that correct?
Yep.
Where are our other day habilitation locations?
Yep, so this one's in Cedar Rapids, and then we have a day program in Iowa City and down in the Quad Cities.
So I guess the other question is, what is it? Why is it you do what you do? What is it that you are personally fulfilled with in your supervision of our day habilitation program?
I continue to have the same interest as I did when we were looking at, was it possible to do a day program here at that. I just really want for folks to be able to have somewhere to go to work on the things they need to work on, but doing it in a way that they're enjoying it, they're learning, they're becoming more independent individuals. It's awesome to see some of our folks that have been with us for a little while and to look back at where they began the program and where they are now. And it's just exciting to see people make progress. It's great. It's fun to work with the clients. We have a great team of staff that is great to work with. So just really enjoy it.
Tell me a little bit about some people who you think are just really impressive.
I'll talk about this year's Edgar winner. We'll start with there. This individual they've been with us about 2 years now. And when they first came, they really struggled with being able to use some coping skills to handle situations when they were feeling frustrated or angry. And so they did not always tackle those issues with, sometimes it was aggressive to get those emotions or feelings out. So over the years, he has done so good with gaining trust in us, first of all, that we're going to sit and listen to him and we're going to help him find ways to work on those areas that he's frustrated with or he's upset with. And part of that then was getting him outside of doing isolating activities. And now he will seek me out to say, guess what? I did these activities today, and laughing. And we found out he's a jokester. Again, that's awesome to watch from when he first started to now, that he's really interacting with people now. And he's not choosing to be using maybe some aggressive ways to handle his feelings. So that's awesome. Last year's award winner, again, he really kind of isolated, and things I feel like that were outside of the norm were scary. And so again, over the years he's been with us, he's worked with us, he's gained, again, I think that trust that we're not going to put him in a situation that will be bad for him. And because of that individual, just not many months ago, we were like, hey, let's get you a bus pass. And he was kind of apprehensive, and he did it. And now he's riding the bus with us. So we're watching while he made great strides up through last year, he's continuing those.
So that's incredible. That's just so inspirational. I mean, when we think of people who, we use the term special needs. I'm not sure that's an appropriate term anymore. But that someone would go from having some acute needs to be able to socialize to someone who is fully socialized, fully engaged. I mean, that is that is a success story.
It is success. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Where do you hope to see the program? We talked about how it's grown in the past number of years. Where would you hope to see this program go in the next 4 or 5 years, maybe? What needs are there that, if funding was unlimited, if
Mhm.
opportunities were unlimited, what needs would you like to see fulfilled?
I think that we're always trying to find as many opportunities in the community that we can. So I think that over the years coming up, just continuing to try to make partnerships or with other either businesses that maybe they've got some volunteer work, or maybe just continuing to learn about activities in the community so that we can make sure that we're doing things to get our folks out there with everyone else in the community, and really working on those skills that, we work on those skills, here at the building, but then getting them into play out in the community. We have a client who would love, if money was not a problem, a jet, so that we could fly to Jamaica, I believe it was.
Sure.
So a jet would be awesome.
A private Goodwill jet.
Yes.
For Dayhab.
Because,
I think that's a great idea.
we only can go so far during the day, so that would be great.
Yeah. Well, on a more practical level, I guess, do we have a limited number of openings for our Dayhab?
Yeah.
So I imagine it would be nice to serve more people if we could.
Yep. We have a wait list here in Cedar Rapids for sure. And yes, we want to make sure that we don't grow to a size that we cannot provide a meaningful and positive experience for folks. We want to make sure that we're providing the program that best fits everyone and gives them quality program.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Circling back to the activities, describe kind of examples of different activities that would be a part of an ordinary day in our Dayhabilitation program.
It could be from hopping on the bus to head to a coffee shop, play some games, go to a park to eat some lunch, to heading out to do some volunteer work, whether that's at, we have a couple different food banks we help out. There's two animal shelters that we go to help with, and then a couple other nonprofit organizations that, whether it's whatever projects they have. Then there may be going bowling or to the driving range. Here at the building, it might be doing crafts or cooking. So when folks come, we have the activities kind of grouped, and so they're picking which group they're going to go with for the day, and then they head off to their groups. They get a little downtime until everybody's there, and then everyone takes off for the day.
Neat. So I had the pleasure when we had our headquarters in the Iowa City Center in Iowa City. The Dayhabilitation program was on site there, so I got to interact with our Dayhabilitation participants much more than I do now. And I tell you, I really miss that. Not only did it remind me of why we are all working at Goodwill and who it is we help, but I missed you had mentioned socialization. To me, when I would step into the Dayhabilitation office for any reason, I was met with such joy and such, what do I want to say? People genuinely enthusiastic that I was there.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit, how do you get that kind of culture within the Dayhabilitation program where there just seems to be such universal friendliness and welcoming?
I think that it's part of just who a lot of our clients are. Like they're just happy to see you, and they're happy to be heading out to do something fun that they've chosen to do.
Sure.
There are days that people are not that cheery, and again, it's like meeting them where they're at so that they know that it's a safe space to talk about whatever they're feeling, so that we kind of work through those things so we can get back to that happy state. So yeah, I think making sure that we're talking to the clients about what they want for their program. is, again, just really important, because if someone's coming to a program where they know they've had some input and they're going to do some things that they want to do and they feel comfortable, you're going to have that excitable nature. So I think that that's always important.
Yeah, I think that many of our day habilitation participants could teach us some things.
Oh yeah, they do.
And
They
probably do.
Oh yeah.
Great. We've been talking to Kari Harford, lead day habilitation specialist at our Cedar Rapids Center. If you know someone who might benefit from our day habilitation program, visit our website at goodwillheartland.org. That's goodwillheartland.org, and click the Contact Us link at the top of the page. We'll be sure to route your inquiry to the right individual who can help. Until next time, I'm your host, Brent Watkins, and thank you for listening to the Good Finds Podcast.